And that's so good to be aware of. It's so good to, number one, be aware of when you're getting stressed out. Because if you're getting stressed out, you're most likely having a clash of values happen.
Ooh.
And so and so you're trying to please your client, you're also trying to please your loved ones, and which is going to come first? And that might not be a black and white decision. It might depend on the moment.
Yeah, it does.
But but knowing that that is your decision puts you back in the driver's seat.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. I
and
had a
that brings the stress down.
Okay. I had a really big aha light bulb moment, and I've told you this before, but there was a year where my husband was gone, didn't live near family, 4 kids by myself, trying to slow up the client work, but still heavy in the client work, trying to build this business. And I can remember staying up late till 1 a.m. to help a client with her launch and the fact that her back end was not ready for the launch. And I stayed up till 1 a.m. And the next morning, I was a monster to my kids. And I just had that clash like, oh God. And then I remember like looking at my client's bank account, I'm like, you just made all this money. I walk away with an hourly wage. I mean, wage and a rage. I think that was like a Freudian thing. And I'm like resentful. I'm tired. I'm cranky. I'm mean to everybody. And that was not worth it. And for me, right then and there, I'm like, I will never stay up late for someone else's business again. And I set that rule. And that was big. Now, sometimes, yeah, I do work on some things in the evening, but I do not do the 1 a.m., 2 a.m. things anymore. Done.
I call that a threshold moment.
Ooh.
Sometimes we just need to have that, that threshold where we have had enough to
Yeah.
make that change. It's not enough to like learn from other people, to maybe hear even our conversation, but we have to learn that lesson ourselves. And that is a painful lesson. And so, in order to avoid having that painful lesson in the first place, but employing self-care early and often,
Yeah.
doing it before you think you need it. Do
Yes.
your self-care when you're feeling great and keep it up so that you are always feeling great.
Yeah, that's my problem right there. I wait till I'm tapped out and burned out, and then I don't want to do it. But yes, I wish I would have had this advice earlier on because I did not know this was a problem or a thing. And when I was just starting my business, I just didn't know what I was getting into in general. But I do find that I have happier weeks when I have Friday. I like to take Fridays off and or have it like my flex day, like schedule something fun. And I haven't been able to do that. I mean, like, especially with the times right now, but that would be my day to go to lunch. Or when we were in Florida, I liked to kayak and I liked having that. And I miss it so much, but I didn't even realize what I was doing at the time. And then I think COVID and lockdown and virtual school has just made everything way worse because
Yeah.
we're all in the house at all times. So it's been a little bit harder for me, but I just want everyone who's starting a business to just remember that what Jen just said, start it before you need it.
Mhm. And COVID is actually, there's what I call sometimes a corona bonus. But having these little um, shakeups are really helpful. Like this whole quarantine time is kind of like a shakeup, right? It gives
Yeah.
us an opportunity to put things back together the way we want them to be. And I remember when I started out as a therapist, there were people that were saying, and I had to go through this myself. I thought in order to get clients, I had to work a lot of evenings because people work or there's students. I had to work at night. And then I had somebody say to me, you set your hours and people will come when you are free.
Yeah.
And I
So true.
thought, really? But I listened because I saw them doing it. So I listened. I changed all my hours. I only worked one night going forward because I did want to provide that option for some people.
Yeah.
Um, but I changed all my hours to daytime. And guess what? They filled. So
Imagine
you decide how you want to design your business, and you will still get work, I promise you.
Yeah.
And
There's
you'll be happier.
Yes, you will. And there is definitely a pattern I see, and I'm just going to say it like I see it. I see a lot of people who go all in with their business and gain a lot of weight and lose themselves in the process. And then they think, I'll wait till my business is successful, or, which is never enough, by the way, because it's always ongoing, like we talked about. And then I see these, big wig entrepreneurs now going on all these weight loss journeys. And it's like very common pattern. I feel like I'm living, breathing example of that. Like, I know I put on some weight over the years. It's a very sedentary work and lifestyle in general. And I'm hitting myself because I knew better. Like, I know better than that. And I've seen this. I've seen this happen with clients and other bigwigs online. But it really, you really can lose yourself and not even realize it till you've added like 30 pounds.
Yeah. Yeah. You can totally lose yourself. So, what if you were to, again, define your dream life,
Yes.
and implement it now? In your dream life, do you see yourself spending an hour a day on moving your body? Do you see yourself spending an hour a day reading a book? Do you see yourself playing with your kids for a couple hours a day? Do you like full on attention? Do you
Yeah.
see yourself diving into some type of hobby or side interest? Then do that now. I'm putting it out there as a challenge. I challenge you to define your dream life and figure out how to live that life today and
So
make your business work for you instead of the other way around.
that is so good. You give yourself that freedom to walk away, especially in our jobs where we're like part creative. You can come back and knock things out so much faster. When I get stuck on things and I walk away, I come back, I'm like, answers, right? And like freeing your brain up to go do something else creative. Like, I love coloring with my daughters. I am a sucker for coloring books. We just bought the Mandalorian one yesterday. We're all about coloring Baby Yoda, sometimes green, sometimes rainbow. But like, to me, like, just to step away from my work and force myself to do that, so much more efficient and productive and better at my job when I do that. So I see it firsthand all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't.
That is one of the greatest ironies, and there's so many ironies that really apply to life in a way that we would never think it could. And one of the ways is, like you just said, stepping away from your business makes you hyper productive in your business. When we
Yeah.
work ourselves to the bone, we are tired, it takes longer. So, if you put in your time for the day, if you worked, like, let's say, I know I keep using these small amounts of hours, but I truly believe we can get in our best work within 4 or 5 hours,
Yeah.
of working a day. I don't really think we need more than that. Because past that, what are we doing? I really think that we can, if we focus and we use our time well, then we're not feeling distracted from other things.
Yeah.
So focus in on your work. If it's like breaking it up, 2 hours here, 2 hours there, and taking breaks in between, like really fun, good, not thinking about work type breaks, and
Yeah.
then come back to it, you can give your full self to it and get it done so much faster
Oh,
and
I love
better.
Yeah, it's so true. So one thing I think I've heard you say is self-care is not just a bath. Did you say that? I
Yeah.
think you said that.
Oh,
So
yeah. I mean, it's
my picture when people say self-care is like, oh, take a bath. Some people think like go get your nails done, but let's talk about what it really is and what it can look like and how it's really different for everybody.
Yeah. So self care starts with your mindset. Number one, you have to believe that you need it. And so that's one of my favorite sayings is self care is a business strategy.
Yes.
So if you are not including self care in your business strategy, and in our mastermind, it is just as important to have a self care strategy as a business strategy, as working on your latest funnel or, whatever it is, your connections, your referrals, and all that type of stuff, you have to have a plan for your self care as well. You absolutely 100% do. So it's the belief that you need it, is where it starts, because you can get massages all day long. And if you think that you shouldn't be, because you should be at your business or you should be with your family, you are not going to feel rested at the end of that massage. You're going to feel just as bad going into it as you do coming out.
Yeah, a lot of guilt there. There's like guilt things to unpack, but
Yeah.
wow, I never thought of it like that too.
Yeah. So you have to really have this, and it's not super self-indulgent, but sometimes I say that word to really drill it into people, that it's important to be self-indulgent when it comes to your self-care. To really believe that it is necessary, you need it, and you're going to go get it, gosh darn it. You know what I mean?
And
So,
you really don't think you need it. Like
yeah,
that whole
yeah.
process. I didn't think I needed it for a long time. And now I have to say I'm a lot better at telling my kids, like, nope, not right now. Mommy's gonna lay down and read her book. Like I like to read, and that's it. You guys can talk to me in an hour.
And you are modeling really good, healthy practices for them, how
Yeah,
to take care of their lives, and that taking care of themselves is important, especially for your little girls. It's
yeah.
important for them to value that as well, because you want them to value that. If you see them, growing up to be young women, you want to see them taking care of themselves. Well, why wouldn't you do that for yourself too?
Yeah, I mean, and we know this, but what that stress and when you don't take care of your bodies and what happens long term, I mean, that's like the seeds for cancer and illnesses, and it's just not good. And so if I think of it in terms of like my parents checking in on me, I'm like, I get it. I get it. And I would do it for my daughter. So why not do it for myself? You know?
Exactly. Exactly. And then the other aspect of it is, yes, like bubble baths and manicures and massages are really important. But what's more important is whatever you're doing, that it's aligned with who you are. So knowing yourself is absolutely key in this situation. Knowing your Enneagram is really a great tool to help you know yourself. Knowing your Myers Briggs is important too. One of
Oh.
the things I kind of mentioned before is, like, on the Myers-Briggs, I'm an E, which means an extrovert. And so every time I move, that E part of my personality gets challenged because I don't know people in the new place that we move to each time. And so I know for my mental health, I need to jump right in. I need to figure out how I can meet people and just get that part of who I am, aligned. And so if you are feeling stressed, number one, it might be a clash of values that are happening. Number two, it might just be whatever you're doing in your life is out of alignment with who you are. And so do you need more people or less people in your life? Do you need something that makes you feel calmer because you're just a personality that needs calm and peace? Or
Mhm.
do you need something that just shoots you with a little bit more adrenaline because you need stimulation and excitement?
So in your mastermind, we have several business owners, and that's one thing you do every week. Can you kind of walk us through, like, and then we'll wrap up here, but setting up your self-care, you do like setting your intention at the beginning of the week, and then you do a check-in at the end of the week. Is there any advice you can give to somebody who's like doing this on their own?
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. I think I used to, when I started my business, do this thing called Sunday night prep. And so every Sunday night, or some people do it Friday night, when they wrap up their work, they set their intentions for the next week. Or maybe you do it Monday morning when you wake up, because you're that type of person. Whatever works for you, s- anytime that you are available to do it, set your intention for the week. Again, when you know where you're going, you're more likely to get there. And so setting whatever was talking about before, your dream life, But if you're looking at it at a week's perspective, set your dream week. How do you want to feel on Friday? And what is going to get you there? So, however you want to feel on Friday, reverse engineer it so that your week sets you up to arrive there. If you want to feel accomplished and peaceful and joyful by Friday, what's going to contribute to that? Probably setting aside time for yourself, I would say every day, because you matter. Also, reverse engineering what you can accomplish in work that week. That will help you know and give yourself buffer times. Like you said, Friday used to be your buffer day. So
Yeah.
if you had to, finish up some things on Friday that you didn't get finished, you had time for that. You didn't overschedule yourself. I'm a firm believer in not overscheduling yourself. So just pick 2 or 3 things to accomplish every day, and if you have a lighter day, then you know you can take on more work. But if your life is pretty good or it's pretty much in that range, then don't take on more work.